Hello. Sorry. Bloody hell. Right. Hello. Welcome to the last movie elbow. Sorry about that. I wanted to try and go live on Twitter, and it was being a bit stupid. So it was a last minute thing. Hello. Welcome to the last movie outpost, where you can get all of your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about film. Hello, Yoda. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. How do I sound? Better?
Yes, but you also sound like you're from the 1980s on the first kind of like modem dial-up kind of thing.
Yeah, I switched over to my laptop because of all the crazy stuff that it has, but because the other computers just got too much loud and everything in it. But I will try to make this sound better if I can. So
it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I can hear you, so that's the main thing. So,
okay.
Yes, hello. Welcome to, like I say, the last movie outpost, where we have movie news and reviews and everything cool, and a new post every single day. We try to get stuff up to keep you all alive on the wonderful world of Hollywood. Well, I say the wonderful world of Hollywood. That's pushing it a little bit far, but at least with movie news and everything else. So this week, it's been quite an interesting week for movie news and everything else. Let's move on to, first of all, Ozzy and Hogan. Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, two unbelievably huge names who have recently passed away. Now, I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of Ozzy Osbourne. When it comes to any Black Sabbath songs, I can't name any. But apparently he's a very missed man. Were you a fan?
I mean, I knew Black Sabbath. I was pretty young when he was big, or I just wasn't into it at the time. He's fine. He had this mystique about him because he was, they said he bit the heads off bats and things like that. And then his show came on, you realize he's kind of a broken man. So he was just kind of a doof. So I got nothing but respect for him. I'm not trying to downplay what he was able to do as a trailblazer in music and all that, but he's fine.
I did mean to do this earlier, but I mean, he did do the theme to Iron Man. So, I mean, there's a huge movie connection there, obviously. But some of his other stuff, Paranoid.
Well, it seemed like a lot of people were upset or kind of talking about how he never was able to get the respect or the play on radio that the others did. And I don't know why. I don't know what the deal was with that. So,
I mean, like I say, looking through his stuff, there's nothing there that I can really sort of highlight. I mean, fine, I should have done more insight into this, but ultimately, I know it sounds horrible, but I just didn't care because I just didn't know who he was. So, it's not like I was, oh no, goodness me, and everything else. He was just sort of a guy who was a great musician. I'm certainly not taking that away from him, but I just don't see him as the huge trailblazer with all the, what's the word? The love that he was getting on social media got to the point where it was like kind of, okay, yes, Ozzy's died, we get it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a metalhead, he's like the god, he's one of the founding fathers and that kind of thing. And you got to give him respect for that. But as far as, am I a big fan? Okay. Wasn't a big metalhead. So, it just wasn't a thing for me.
I like a good concerto myself, as opposed to.
I just felt like when he started the reality show, it just kind of like took away all his mystique. He became kind of a buffoon, and I know people loved it and everything, but I was like, I don't know. But to each his own.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, who are we to judge? Actually, for a hell of a lot of people to judge. No. Yeah, like I say, it's obviously a shame, and I'm very sorry for his family. But by the sounds of what I had read, it sounded like he should have died probably in 1968, but it was Sharon who kept him alive.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he ended up having coursing through his veins by the time it was all over, but fairly impressive what he was I mean, what was he? He was in his 70s, right? I mean, he was 73, 74. I don't know. I didn't
Also,
see all of it.
where are we? Oh, I can tell you that he passed away at 3:21 p.m. on Tuesday the 22nd, but I can't see what his date was. Who wrote this? Stark. So yeah, like I say, but you know, again, it's not kind of when sort of somebody in the movies dies and you think, oh goodness, that's a sad loss. I can now go back and rewatch his things. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh great, now we can go back and re-listen to his music. Maybe the Iron Man thing.
Yeah, I agree. It just look, no disrespect, okay? It just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. What I'm not going to do is click on some of these images from the comments because, we'd get in trouble. And then, but the other one who was more known to movies and to at least entertainment was obviously Hulk Hogan. Was he your generation of wrestling? Or were you ever into wrestling?
Yeah. I had like about 2 years of just being totally into the WWF.
Oh, yeah, that was exactly the same with me.
Yeah, rebranded WWE, and then I just fell out of it. And I don't, I find it all laughable. I know it's all scripted and everything. I think sometimes.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? I think sometimes. It's one of my
favorite lines from Lion Liar when he says, "Is wrestling real? At the Olympics, yes. On Channel 32, no."
No. I do think that even though it's scripted, I mean, movies are scripted, but you can still see some hellacious stunts in it, right? So some of the stuff these guys do, and you know how they don't get more hurt. I think there should be some respect for that. As far as Hulk Hogan himself, I think I think the best thing Hogan contributed to society was taking down Gawker, which he had a sex tape released, stolen and released, and Gawker just put it out, and he did a lawsuit which turned out to be bankrolled by Peter Thiel, I think. And Thiel was outed by Gawker for, gay, and didn't want to be. And so I think that was him. But in any case, the lawsuit was so damaging that Gawker basically went out of business. So as far as I'm concerned, just doing that makes him an American hero.
I think I've seen him and his new wife taking the mick out of that or something or other. I mean, again, with most of these kind of celebrities, they always try and separate the art from the artist. So, I'm never like kind of massively that bothered with their outside lives. It's just what they do inside. But I'm sure I have seen that. He was in Rocky 3.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time since I've seen the Rocky films. I just don't remember.
He's Thunderlips. So Rocky had before Mr. T finally. I know it's a great name.
Such a bad name.
But
I've known a few girls called that.
So, careful, might get racist. He did with Rocky 3. Rocky had to fight him in an exhibition thing, and it's funny because Sylvester Stallone walks up to him. He comes up to like his chest. He's so tiny. Yeah. It's like I don't know in retrospect if that would have really been a thing or whatever, but it was pretty hilarious.
But like as you just said, some of wrestling is known to be just a tad made up.
A little bit.
A little bit. And then Gremlins 2 breaks the fourth wall in that. I do remember because it's when the camera goes funny, doesn't it? And the projection goes thing, and then he gets
there
and
one of the early examples of the fourth wall break.
Suburban Commando, which I remember having lots of fun with. What I do like about him, like with this image, what I do like about him is he's anybody who just doesn't take themselves too seriously is fine in my book. And there are some of the people in wrestling who do seem to think it is real and really take themselves seriously, whereas he was just never one of those guys. And kudos for that. Like I say, if you're willing to take the mick out of yourself, happy days as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was funny. I was in a bar and they had the wrestling on in the one of the TVs, and I'm just kind of watching it just because I hadn't so long, and everybody comes out. Everybody has a fucking belt. I'm like, everybody has a belt. I'm like, if everybody has a belt, what's the point? I don't understand. Yeah. There's like 73 belts that they can't. Everybody's coming out with their belt. I'm like, what is this?
If everybody's special. Nobody is.
Nobody is. I couldn't understand it.
Three Ninjas, High Noon, and Mega Mountain. Now, I've heard of Three Ninjas, but I didn't realize they did some sequels to it.
Yeah, they were like the Land Before Time, man. They just kept churning them out after that first one.
Well, now I really want to see that, because I know Three Ninjas is about three kids who are ninjas. I do remember that, but now I want to see this because it looks awful. Hulk Hogan plays Dave Drago, a washed-up TV actor. So yeah, like I say, I really want to watch it now. Kind of with muscles, fly hard. Go on.
I remember Hulk having numerous guest stars on the A-Team. Was apparently a friend of BA or Mr. T's character, so that was fun.
Romeo and Juliet. I'm not showing that picture. Romeo and Juliet. Oh goodness me. Because just to tie this in, very tenuous link, but Romeo and Juliet, there's a review going out tomorrow. We've just had one of the indie films called Super Charlie. That's the same creative team as Romeo and Juliet. Again, I can't really name sort of. With a lot of his films, I've seen them, but I can't really tell you much about them. There was a man with a big mustache in it, and he was muscly. I do know. Obviously, like, he's go on.
So it sounds like every Hulk Hogan film.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, again, it's a sad legacy that's lost because wrestling has entertained the masses for an awfully long time. So it was sad to see.
I gotta give him. I mean, he did kind of pave the way for wrestlers to get into movies. I think that guys like John Cena, Dave Bautista, The Rock, all owe him a little bit that he could make. You could get a wrestler in movies that would work. And granted, most of his stuff was schlock, but it did.
It was fun schlock.
It was fun schlock. It did. Yeah, it made it.
It wasn't out to offend anybody or anything else. It was just there for It was just there for fun. So, this week had a trailer released, not just a teaser, because we had the teaser earlier on, but a trailer released for Predator Badlands. I am one of those people that these things are dragging on now, and it's kind of, I don't want to say annoying me, but it's just, what did you make of this?
I don't even remember. I know I watched it. I don't even remember. I just remember the soy Predator. Honestly, I treat the Predator movies now like I treat the Alien movies now. Or the Terminators, which all seem to kind of, those three kind of have the same trajectory, which there are two, and that's it. Everything else after that is shit.
I think there was news this week as well. They're doing a new Friday the 13th movie. And again, it's just, to me, you can get away with a trilogy. When you think of Star Wars or Lord of the Rings and that kind of thing, even The Matrix, you can get away with a trilogy. But as soon as they start going down the route of more after that, that's when they start losing the plot. Like I say, with movies like Aliens and Aliens and Terminator, again, there's generally two of them. The third Alien was awful, but that was not what's his name, David Fincher's fault. But the third Terminator, you can kind of get away with it. But again, everything after that is just now just becoming, like I say, it's just content. It's just being churned out.
You could say the third one, they're still trying, I guess, but it just didn't work. But I mean, to me, Terminator is a perfect duology. Predator is like the first one is a classic, and the second one is, hey, let's do that again, but in the city with a little bit more fun schlock in it.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
good. You still had good characters and stuff in it. Same with Alien and Aliens. Perfect duology, in my opinion.
I've had that
Nice.
expression for a long time. Good characters.
Yeah, no shit.
Not in this day and age.
And Terminator, Predator, and the first two, and then after that you should quit. But you have a franchise now, so you can't quit, and they just can't seem to make a good one since, for one reason or another. So I'm just not.
Another classic. I was going to say another classic example of this is Jurassic Park. And do you know what? I'm going to say the trilogy because I actually quite like the third one. I thought the third one was, interesting. It went down a bit of a route, the whole mother thing and everything else. But the overall arc of the story was pretty solid. But I mean, the new Jurassic Park, I think I've just read it's gone over the billion or gone over the sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just thinking, oh, you know what that means? They're just going to churn out another one. And I think in the comments on Jurassic Park, somebody said, "Oh, is this the one where the dinosaurs escape?" And it's like, yeah, that's been all of them. You can only sort of flog that story so many times.
I watched, I think it was Sargon of Akkad or Lotus Eater, one of the two. It was the guy, Carl Benjamin, and he talked to depth about the Jurassic Park movies. And the thing that the first three even understood was that the dinosaurs are a force of nature, and the story is about man's folly to try to control nature. That's what they're about. In starting with Jurassic World, the dinosaurs are tamed, and it's about entertaining the masses, and the dinosaurs are now monsters.
Yeah.
But everything would have been fine. It's like the system would have been fine if the monsters weren't, and it's like, no, it's actually enhancing man's hubris. It's like in support of man's hubris rather than understanding that this is a mistake. You can't, there's a certain level that man can't get past in trying to control nature, So that's the theme that has been lost in all the Jurassic movies, at least since Jurassic World. And that's why now people love spectacle, people love dinosaurs, people love eat popcorn, drool. So they don't get
the dinosaur had a man. That was cool.
Yeah. But they don't understand why these movies are not what there's a reason why the first one is a classic. And it's a big it's both stop messing with nature and a whole bunch of allusions to parenthood. And like in the first Jurassic movie, you have Alan, who doesn't want to have kids, learns to have to take care of kids, right? But also you have a lot of birth and emergence metaphors, right? So you got the car falls on them, right? And they have to come out of the car, and they come back and they see the broken car and the footprints leaving, right? Then later on, Alan comes with the kids and he finds the eggs. He finds the broken eggs and all the footprints leaving. Lots of allusions to birth, and rebirth, and parenting, and all that kind of stuff. And all that's in there. And it's like the Red Letter Media guys say, you may not notice, but your brain does. So, nothing that clever is in anything since I would even say Jurassic Park since the first one.
Probably from the fact that Jurassic Park was obviously written by Michael Crichton, but it was based on somebody who was an incredibly good writer and a good storyteller and a good created character arcs. Not only character arcs, but also the whole, like you say, think about should dinosaurs be brought back? Can we tame them? And all this kind of stuff. It makes you think in that respect. Whereas nowadays, it is just content that's got to be churned out.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just corporate IP. And they're even trying to because of the whole meta thing, which I am so over. They're trying to be meta about it. It's like, well, we got to keep the masses entertained. We'll throw out more dinosaurs, but we got to make them bigger and badder. And within the movie, they say we have to genetically create a new crazy dinosaur because people are bored of dinosaurs. Which I'm like, are people bored of zoos? I don't think that's gonna be the case. That people get bored of dinosaurs.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So
everything. The one thing I want to see is a tiger, mixed with a horse,
Yeah.
just to make it more entertaining.
It's just Hollywood's ran by retards. That's just all it is.
Yeah. We are in this cultural desert, unfortunately. And like I say, even this Badlands, it's kind of, I thought he did, Dan Trachtenberg did quite well with Prey. It was an interesting take on it, and it was a bit girl bossy, but it was an interesting take. But now again, he's now done this Killer of Killers, which I think we've got an article going up about tomorrow. And then this Badlands. And again, this is now all tied in with Alien because of the Wayland Industries. And so that at some point there's going to be another Alien versus Predator movie. And again, it's just content which is just being churned out. When you get to the point where you can't remember which film has what, that becomes an issue. Yeah.
Okay, but everybody says Prey was pretty good. I'm like, you ever gone back and rewatched it, or are you going to put in Schwarzeneggers? I've never felt the need to rewatch it.
Oh, yeah, this is true. I watched it once and remember it being quite good, but the original Predator I've seen several times.
Yeah, I just
when it comes on, you're just immediately, and sort of sucked into it, and yeah.
I think that's a true test of a movie. If you go back, you say, I have no desire to watch it again. It's like, it can't be that great.
I think the drink Pedro Pascal in there. I think that's a massive problem. I think the Drinker said that the other day on one of his videos. So he said that this generation doesn't have like a Star Wars or a Harry Potter or a Lord of the Rings. Nothing in the last 20 years has been massively made.
I said that in the streams 3, 4, 5 years ago. Okay, I said there is my kids don't have anything that they will look back on with nostalgia. They have to look back on our schlock. And I'm like, not only that, but they have to look back. Not only that, they have to look back on the generation that Star Wars died. I mean, what the hell? That's just me and you grew up going to the cinema and seeing Star Wars over and over and over again and falling in love with this film because it was just fantastic. Whereas modern kids today, they just don't have anything like that. And like I say, with most films that come out these days, I'll watch them once, they might be all right, but that's kind of me done and dusted with it. It's not like you say you're going to buy it on Blu-ray or DVD or anything else to sort of sit there and rewatch it over and over again. It's kind of, maybe if it's on TV, I'll stick it on, but that's pretty much it. It's weird. It's like Endgame in 2019. I mean, I feel like that was the last time movies came out and I wanted to rewatch or see again. I'm thinking of stuff that's come out since 2020, and I can't think of anything that I go, oh man, I got to see that again or see it more once, or that really resonated. But I can't. Maybe I'm just an old asshole. I don't know.
So Predator Badlands has got a new trailer. It's going to be out. Obviously, we'll give you a review when it's on streaming because I'm not going to the cinema to see it. But speaking of other things that are coming out, Spinal Tap. Now, I've literally just finished watching the original Spinal Tap again for the, I don't know how many umpteenth time. Let's find that on there. But, what did you make of this new trailer? Because there's a new trailer for it. And what did you think of it? Because I think I've got an interesting take compared to what some of the comments were. But what did you think of it?
Yeah, I'm mixed. I think it has a lot of the same interesting setup. They look like they're trying to lean into the mockumentary thing. Rob Reiner is completely insufferable now, and I don't have a lot of faith in him. But it did look like they were kind of leaning into their old farts. So I don't know. I just, like, you bring in Paul McCartney and you're doing these, it sounds like Who's Who of Rockers wants to be a part of it, and that's what's going to happen. Oh, he's doing crypto. Oh, okay. It's funny.
I mean, when I saw a picture of the three of them looking unbelievably old, and I did think to myself, that is quite funny because it's kind of, first of all, it is sad to see them all so old, but at the same time, I did think, they look like the Stones in 20 years' time. Not even now, because, the Stones are just, again, they do that final tour. This is the final tour we're not doing any more after this, apart from the final tour. You know, and I think they're going to go down that route. But somebody in the comments mentioned, where is it? I can't think where it was now, but somebody said it actually looks good. There you go. I say, since the trailer spends more time covering the originals, it's hardly a sign of confidence.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, but I don't know whether actually that's a stroke of genius, that what they're doing is just lulling people into a false sense of security, so that it's kind of, oh, really, it's just going to be the same old jokes and everything else. But they're actually kind of, do you know what? We've made something a bit new and everything else. We've lowered your expectations. If you go and see it, you're actually going to really enjoy it.
And maybe it's just another, the strip mining of stuff from 20, 30, 40 years ago. I'm like,
yeah,
Hollywood is dead. I really do think so. They're just reliving all the past glories, bringing people out.
Using the expression just a cultural desert.
It is. And it's like, I don't, you know, okay, they did that already. And yeah, it was kind of fun. Like maybe like when they did The Hustler and then 25 or whatever years later did The Color of Money. And it's like, it was kind of an odd little, you know, curiosity. It wasn't something that they did on often. And then I honestly blame Star Wars for this. I really do. I think since the prequels came out, reliving back and realizing how much money they can make, I think it's just been snowballing from there.
This is true. Although, again, somebody else I was talking to made a point that you've got the picture there of Michael McKean and Christopher Guest and Harry Shearer. Those three are generally sort of, I don't want to say never, because I can't check it off the top of my head, but they've kind of never put their names to something that they didn't, want to do. And I do wonder whether the script for this is kind of sort of something they have been working on for a while, and that they really do want to sort of, do you know what? This is going to be like a swan song for us. We really do want to make, you guys laugh and everything else. And so they put their name to something which is solid.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, I guess I should give them the benefit of the doubt. It's not like, I don't know. I mean, if he ever comes out with a sequel to Princess Bride, I'll shoot him in the head. But
Oh yeah, no, don't. That's not even funny. To say something like that. But again, something which should never be touched with this kind of thing. Obviously, the mockumentary for what they did in Spinal Tap was new and revolutionary, and people hadn't seen that kind of thing before. Whereas nowadays, it's obviously there's 10 a penny of them coming out. I don't know. I saw the trailer and I thought it looked interesting, and I was a little hopeful. So actually, something nice might actually happen.
Yeah, and just for the YouTube gods, I am not going to actually shoot anyone in the head. Okay, God. I feel like you have to censor yourself these days. It's ridiculous.
Have you ever heard of a TV series called The Young Ones in America and in British TV? It was an anarchic thing. It was very much like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but done in the 80s. And there's a scene in there where Vivian, who's a punk, grabs a hippie friend and throws him in a fridge, and a little sign comes up saying the BBC would like to point out that putting people inside a fridge is a bloody stupid thing to do. it always sticks with me, because it's kind of like, yes, we know, but you still have to be reminded.
Well, if they were doing it ironically.
Not in The Young Ones, no. Now this one really irked me. This one, yeah. I sat down and watched the original War of the Worlds quite recently. Where is the... No, it was earlier than that. It's got the big picture of Ice Cube on it. There we go. War of the Worlds is an absolute classic piece of literature and a classic movie from, 1959-ish, I think it is. I am still a little bit annoyed at the ending, because in my best Morgan Freeman voice, because he did the narration for the 2005 version, was it? Spielberg. God in all his wisdom, the microscopic organisms which eventually killed the aliens. You'd think God in all his wisdom would have just not created aliens. That would have saved millions of human lives. But I mean, it's a classic piece of literature, and I mean, it has been done to death as well.
Well, the aliens were created by Satan. See, that's the thing.
Oh,
God
right,
didn't create them. Those were Satan's spawn. So,
what did you think when you saw this trailer? Firstly, there's Ice Cube in it. I mean, to me, that's kind of like, talk about a red flag.
It's like, oh, War of the Worlds as viewed by the TikTok generation. That's what that is. It's like he's watching the whole thing on TV. That's what the whole movie's going to be, him watching everybody on TV. I'm like,
well, he's probably the same as us now. He's probably quite old and just can't run very far. He'd be caught by the aliens in seconds.
Hey, I'm like, if the aliens want our data, why are they destroying everything? Why would they destroying everything that would hold our data? So sorry, what data do they want? They can travel through space and got spaceships and everything else. So what do they want from us? The Epstein list? All the makeup videos on TikTok. They really want the OnlyFans. There is a movie called Mars Needs Women, so I'm going to guess it's the OnlyFans data.
No, I suppose, yeah.
I mean, look, if data is their food, I'm like, what? You're destroying everything that would create data, you dumbasses. I don't get it.
And it's leaving me speechless. I cannot get over the fact that somebody somewhere, sat down with a bunch of producers and said, listen, I've got a great idea, and spelled this out. And then somebody said, do you know what? Here you go. There's 50 million. Go and make it. It sounds awesome.
I mean, you can clearly see that. I mean, like the whole movie is going to be him watching it on screens. I'm like,
I know.
What? You remember that was the big thing with the Godzilla movie, where everybody was said it was just people watching Godzilla on TVs and bars and things like that. I know the whole movie wasn't like that, but I mean, like I think that's the conceit they're going to do on this. I'm going, okay. I mean, I know the big War of the Worlds was the radio thing that everybody listened to and thought it was real and all that.
Which I still love because they introduced it saying this is a play. But obviously, as people then tuned into it, they obviously missed that message. And then, and fantastic, absolutely brilliant the way that was done. And like I say, with a great script and everything else, which made it all realistic and stuff. But I mean, again, this is one of those things. It's been a perfect movie because again, watching that original, the special effects I think they said cost something like $100 million back in I can't remember what it was, 50 something or other, 56 I think it was. But bringing that up to today's standard, that's actually about 120 million. And so you're thinking, oh no, nothing's changed there. They're sort of spending. But I mean, it still looks fantastic, and you've got these wonderful characters and stuff. And I'm not being funny, but I've yet to see Ice Cube as a character I've liked and wanted to see more of.
Yeah, I mean, he was okay. What was it? The Friday movies? I think he was in.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
My kids used to love that movie with where he had the car and he had to take care of his girlfriend's kids for a day and everything went wrong. I didn't like it, but
hang on, I've got to find a meme a minute. Carry on talking, but I've got to find a meme about that.
Yeah, but I'm just, I mean, I don't know. I did like, the 2005 one was okay. It was interesting take on it. The George Powell version, 1952, 54.
There you go.
Yeah, no shit.
And so one of these celebrities are doing family-friendly Disney movies, and the other one be in prison for multiple sexual assaults. And who would you? And again, it's just kind of, this is the world that we live in now. Bill Cosby, who was adored and loved by so many generations growing up, is the one who's in prison, and Ice Cube's doing fun family comedies.
Speaking of Cosby, the one death we didn't mention was Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo in the Cosby Show. I'm like, do not play or be Bill Cosby's son because you're gonna die.
Yeah,
because he lost his actual son Ennis way back when, and now Theo is dead. I'm like, don't do it, guys. There's apparently some sort of curse there.
same rule goes for going out for him with a drink. Bill Cosby.
Better go check out the cast of Ghost Dad. Make sure they're doing okay.
It's weird because, again, now and then I kind of think, I want to watch Ghost Dad, see what it's like, and it's like, no, just don't. My dad used to love his stand-up. He had a couple of videos with his stand-up and stuff, and he was a funny man. But it's just, again, this is why I try to separate, the art from the artist, because, again, I don't want to know about what these people are up to and this. What Ice Cube has done. Oh my good. Oh, wait a minute. So sorry. Right. Just looked up Ice Cube just to get. He's done apparently 106 credits, 102 credits, including the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. He was Superfly in there. I don't think I watched that. That was the one where they uglied up April.
Don't forget Anaconda. True classic.
Weirdly, Anaconda for me gets a pass because it was one of those films that was so bad it was actually quite good. And the same with Triple X, Return of Xander Cage, because he was in the second one, wasn't he?
He was.
Ride along with what's his name? Oh, the unfunny guy who always goes with a rock, little guy, Kevin Hart. I would have got there eventually. But I mean, again, yeah, that's right. He was in Triple X State of Union. But I mean, again, he's not an actor. A fine musician, as I understand it, but that's as far as it goes. I wouldn't put him down as an actor. And he's one of those people that has tried to get into it, and it's just not worked. So
he's all right in the right role. I don't. This one looks. I mean, he's aged up, but he's trying to play his age, so maybe that's working. I don't know. Just the whole thing. It's another rehash. I mean, that's all it is. I know this thing. You know, War of the Worlds, right? Here's a new version of it. It's just more a thing you know. That's all it is.
Remade with a slightly different story, which completely annoys you in every way. Apparently, it's called. Sorry, I was just looking up on the IMDb. Apparently, it's called War of the Worlds Revival. I don't know why. That's pretty sort of one of those words that they've thrown in there. It's sort of like, yeah, we'll call it War of the World Revival. Why? Well, because, it's modern Hollywood. Who knows?
I don't know anymore.
Right, let's move on, because we are going to finish this stream on a nice, happy note. Thank you very much. Brilliant link there. Happy Gilmore 2. Now, I think this surprised both of us, didn't it? Because it was actually pretty funny. Your review was really good, and I agreed with most of sort of everything that you pretty much said. But yeah, what was your take on it?
I didn't think it was as funny as maybe you did. I didn't groan too much, but I wasn't like. I mean, there was no Bob Barker beats the shit out of Happy moment in there. That's just a classic scene. And there wasn't any scene.
They did bring that back a little bit, didn't they? Because the whole Bob Barker they were at the graveyard for some reason.
I mean, that felt
forced. He was buried in that graveyard.
Everybody. And the one lady was apparently buried alive, which was a little dark. It was even more dark when we're spoilers here. It was even more dark when the jackass guy, son, gets eaten by alligators, and everybody's just laughing. This guy basically got murdered.
But with this was one of those things that there was quite a few people in cameos in here that I didn't recognize.
I didn't.
For example, a lot of the golfers, I recognize Rory McIlroy because he's been on the news over here. I don't follow golf at all. But yeah, with them, and I was thinking, oh, maybe those people are actually real golfers. And I think they actually did a pretty solid job with their acting. It was not terrible.
Yeah, I like the one golfer, like I can't remember his name, begins with an S, but was perfectly fine, just sitting in jail. It's like that kind of stuff was good.
Get down.
The Travis Kelce cameo I liked, mostly because I can't see Chiefs. He's big star around here. He was the asshole waiter with the beard. That sold out the guy.
Okay.
And then they tied him to his happy place was to tie him to a tree with bears and honey. And
Right, okay. Again, I had no idea who he was. So
yeah. So, but that was like one of the few I recognized. One guy I would have recognized. He's so old, but when he said his name was Jack Nicklaus, it's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. But yeah, the cameos were fine. If you're not into golf or whatever, they probably didn't do a whole lot for you.
no.
Happy's alcoholism was both tragic and funny, where he kept hiding alcohol. Like at one point, he had his lens finder up, and then he unscrews it. He's got alcohol hidden everywhere.
Everything.
And but it was what really, like, if the jokes weren't landing, which they were mid at best for me, but it was the
so much of giggling, but.
Yeah, I mean, they were okay, but the themes really landed. Like, I loved that Happy's kids love him. They recognize he's got some problems. He's down because his wife died. That's what happens to be in the movie, is they kill off Julie Bowen very quickly, which I wasn't sure about. But then, but once it kind of got, they say, okay, she's dead, but we'll move on. It kind of like made, it was the driving force behind the whole movie. And once he decides to quit drinking, I mean, his daughter never acts like, the kind of the condescending female daughter that if her father was drinking to yell at him and shit, tell him he's a piece of, no, she loved him to death. They all loved him. And they just, when he decides to go, they just support him 100%. I'm like, that's nice. It's a breath of fresh air. I guess half the kids were played by his own kids, from what I saw. And then you get to Happy was the rebel in the original movie. Like he was up against the repressed establishment, and then you get to this one, and he's like, maybe tradition is okay, which is kind of a little bit of what the culture war is going through right now in a broader sense. That the things that were planted years ago, maybe there's a reason why they were there. Maybe you don't just rebel against tradition just to be a rebel. Maybe there's a reason why these things
why they survive.
Yeah. And he even says so. He's like, I never thought I'd be the one, defending tradition, but here I am. Yeah. I think so. I thought that was a nice. Yeah, and I'll just do my third thing, and that was I loved the Shooter McGavin redemption arc. I love that idea of saying let's take him down a different road. I thought sure it was going to be back to the same old, oh, here we go, Shooter and no, they didn't do that. They got very clever with it, and they made peace at the very least. I don't know if you called friends or not, but certainly they made peace and had a kind of a mutual respect by the end of the movie. And that was great. And I'm like, going, this is the kind of stuff that should be in more movies, not this irony or,
just bring them back just for the sake of he was the bad guy in the first one. Let's make him bad guy again type of thing. Yeah.
Or do like what Rian Johnson did with Last Jedi, destroy the past, set it on fire, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, no, let's respect the past. Let's give people a second chance. And I just was kind of shocked by how much I love the actual story more than the humor. And because they focused on those things, the humor may have taken a little bit of a backseat here and there, but I think it made the movie better for it. And I dare say it might be better than the first one. Maybe. It's close. It's close.
Well, for me, it resonated in because I watched it, I think, the same time as you, and I was going to do a review, but you got in there first and, and just took over. But
I got to contribute once in a while, goddammit.
I must say, I was going to try and write it at work, but I just didn't get the chance. And if anybody's watching from work, that's a joke. But it did resonate. It did resonate with me. There's 2 points I wanted to bring up, but it did resonate with me that we're kind of in that same boat as we identify really well with Happy. That, like I say, he is trying to save tradition. He is trying to save the traditional golf, this whole maxi golf and everything, which got unbelievably stupid towards the end. I mean, it was absolutely ludicrous.
It was.
But I kind of understand how they're like trying to reinvent golf and make it more for the younger generation stuff. And this is exactly what they're doing with movies at the moment. They are trying to make movies much more, ticking the boxes so that kids can be happy and adults can be, and they're reinventing stuff and taking this traditional stuff, particularly from the 80s and 90s, and rehashing it for the modern generation. And I think ultimately that's why we're on Happy's side. That he just wants the traditional game of golf. That's what we just want. Traditional movies. We just want an action movie where there's, big blokes with muscles beating up on aliens. That's what we want. We don't want to know about their feelings. We don't want to see girl bossing and all this kind of stuff. And that really identified with me. Only afterwards, I was only thinking about it this morning and just thinking that, like I say, we identify with Happy because he's trying to keep the traditions going, to keep golf alive, as opposed to turning it into some awful monstrosity, which is what half the movies that we have to watch these days are about.
Which is what everybody was worried about with him in the first movie. That he was going to turn golf into a monstrosity. But yeah, he's grown as a character. What an idea.
He learned to respect it. Now, one thing I'm just going to quickly look up, because I wrote the, I think it was the teaser or the trailer for this when it came out, Happy Gilmore. So, and I'm going to make a retraction here, but in here I said, interesting to see Quayle in the cast. I'll put good money on her playing Happy's daughter. Was wrong there. And they don't get a new beginning. They don't get on at the beginning, but they bond over the game of golf. Could be a better golfer because it's Hollywood and that's how things work now. Got that completely wrong. I thought that, like I say, she was going to be into golf and she was going to, and the way Ray replaced Luke, she was going to replace him, but they didn't do that. He was ultimately going back to golf, even though he didn't want to, because he loves his daughter, because she just wants to follow different pursuits. And it was totally and utterly against what
devoted father.
Expected.
He's fallen on hard times. He's done some dumb stuff, as you would expect, but he's clearly a devoted father. He's clearly deciding to do this. The reason why golf is so painful for him, because he's the one that killed his wife with one of his lawn darts. Now, I found the death ludicrous. It's like she knows how good he is at what he does. Like, what are you doing anywhere near the line of fire? But okay, fine. It's the insight he accidentally killed.
Motivation.
Yeah, he killed her because of golf, so he's out of golf. And he has to get back into golf because he wants to help his kids. He wants to help his daughter. He wants to get the house back, all his money back, and he wants to do right by his family. I'm like, okay, solid motivation to me. I mean,
I was going to say, unlike most other Hollywood movies, the girl can't do it by herself and bury her dad and have everything handed to her on a plate. She actually needed help from her father, which is what most kids need these days.
Yeah, and he, they didn't take the focus off of him. It was his movie. They didn't Last Jedi it or Indiana Jones it or something like that. And then I loved his happy place. Like his original happy place was like that of a 20
medium-sized trousers.
Yeah, medium-sized trousers, and I don't know. My 401k is doing well, things like that.
Yeah,
it was very. But I thought that was the one that made me laugh. Was his age-appropriate happy place? I thought that was great. Yeah. But it kind of showed. It also showed his growth as a person. He's now a 20-something-year-old. He's 58. And he's acting like
everything's changed. In a place,
So, but in a good way, he's not this. It's not like what they do in that lazy shit they do in Lucasfilm. It's like, he's old, so that means he's gone. He's been shit on, and he's in a crap place, and everybody hates him. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way.
He's again, we can kind of identify with both. I think I said this with the Formula One review. You can identify with Happy Gilmore, the first one, because there was a time when you started something new and you were all enthusiastic and I don't care about the rules and everything else. But now you also identify with older Happy that, not that I've got a drinking problem, but, you've got problems and you've got loved ones that you want to look after. And there's got a drinking problem, 2 hands and 1 mouth. But you identify with him because he just wants to be a loving dad and give his kids the best. And the only way that he can do that is going back to something which he ultimately fell out in love with. But again, they didn't Luke Skywalker, they didn't Disney him. And again, it just was a refreshing change to sort of think, oh, actually, this is solid. Like I say, the jokes weren't massively funny, but it was just nice to see a decent story where that character, a white male lead character, not be torn down and shred to pieces, but actually see him going over an arc where obviously at the beginning he was, but he went over an arc and improved himself and ultimately saved the day.
If you asked me if I would find the most based, wholesome, themed, maybe not jokes, but themed movie this year, Happy Gilmore 2 would not have been anywhere in my top 50. And yet, here we are. This is the world we're in now, Phil. This is it.
It's just everything's upside down. It's a crazy world. Hamburgers must eat people, and it was just strange. But ultimately, like I say, I had fun with it. And again, it's one of those films that I would go back to and quite happily sit and watch again.
I would too.
And probably get more out of it.
Yeah, it's. I know the first one had an arc of kind of finding his place, bit of a rebel, all that kind of stuff, getting the girl, kind of the typical young man fantasy tropes, or hero's journey trope, whatever you want to call it. But this one is much different. It's very much a redemption kind of story, but also very strong family themes, very strong tradition themes. I'm like going, I can't believe I'm saying this about a fucking Happy Gilmore movie, but yet.
I mean, again, maybe it's just the fact that obviously, what was it, 34 years ago? So however old Adam Sandler is, but I mean, he was in his 20s, obviously, when he made the first Happy Gilmore, and it was just a goofy movie where he's mucking around with friends. Yeah. But Adam Sandler himself has matured as a person, and so he's trying to just input that into the character to sort of say, we're all a little bit older, we're a little bit wiser, but we can still have a laugh and a joke without offending or changing and completely going against everything else. We've got a comment. Rowdy.
Oh, my God.
I wasn't going to bother you with Happy Gilmore, but now I'll give it a look. Thank guys. It's solid. It was a fun movie, and like I say, they didn't destroy the character. It was still about the character, and it was about him ultimately, a redemption arc. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't Citizen Kane or anything, but it was shockingly good. I was so pleasantly surprised. I think the only thing that detracted from me is that the jokes just didn't quite work. And maybe some of it was because I didn't recognize half of the cameos and things. And some of it, the other thing that didn't work was the member berry flashbacks. Like, just in case you don't remember this, we're going to insert a scene from the original Happy Gilmore so you remember this guy. I'm like, that was a bit much.
Not only that, but they also kind of, after a while, that got really irksome because it was kind of, yes, we know he was in the first one. And they dug up everyone from the first movie, even like the extras on the golf course. Even weirdly, I actually looked up whether it was Richard Keel's son, because Richard Keel was in the original, Jaws, as you would remember him. And then they brought in somebody who was pretending to be his son, who was apparently the guy from I think it was John Wick 3, who he fought in the library. Very tall guy. Anyway, but again,
and that guy's mother was Adam Sandler's mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. But with it, I mean, everybody. Oh, I did. Right. Sorry, I didn't realize that. But everybody from the first movie got a cameo in the second movie, and after a while, it was kind of. Yeah,
if they weren't dead,
they were in the first one. Yeah, exactly. And even when they were dead, they all seemed to be buried in the same.
Well, even they even inserted that scene with the alligator and Carl Weathers and I forget what the other one was, but they were all
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln, that's right. But they put them all in there, and then Yeah, I mean, some of it was really clumsily. It looked like it was bad film grain or something. I don't know. It didn't look as sharp as the rest of the movie. They just kind of stuck it in there. And I don't know. That was like, okay, we get it. But it wasn't enough to detract from my enjoyment. It just a nitpick. No. I'll put it as a nitpick.
Yeah. Like I say, after a while, it just sort of like, I think it sort of about halfway, it gets to the third act and they're still doing the same thing. And I was just kind of, okay, yeah, fine. But overall, Happy Gilmore 2 was highly enjoyable and quite appropriate for the climate in which we live, weirdly enough. It will be the turning point. It's the film that saved Hollywood. Happy Gilmore 2.
We do indeed live in strange times.
Okie doke. Well, we're trying to keep this live stream short and sweet at the moment. Oh, sorry, that's my phone going off. My phone, when it goes off as a text, says, I've got a bad feeling about this. And it usually is. But yes, like I say, we're trying to keep it short and sweet. So we hope you enjoyed this little soiree out for the Last Movie Outpost, all 4 of you that joined us today. Those numbers are certainly going up. If we hit double figures, we've really made it. Less. But any final words from you, my friend?
No, I'm going to try to see Fantastic Four today, and then I'm going to try and start writing.
We may talk about that next week, because I think it was the drinker who said it's actually not bad. And I'm off next week, and I thought, do you know what? I might actually go to the cinema and just give it a go. See what it's like, because apparently it's pretty good, even though it's got Pedro Pascal in it.
Midnight's Edge, didn't like it. Critical Drinker did. I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those that I don't know. It seems to be a little polarizing.
I'll go in with an open mind, but I mean, hopefully, like I say, it might be something which is good, which is just unusual these days. Usually going to the cinema is, I don't want to say a chore, but half the stuff, I'm still waiting for Superman on streaming, because of that I'm really not bothered about. But Fantastic Four, like I say, I might, just treat myself, get a small mortgage and treat myself to the cinema.
There you go.
Yeah, we might talk about that next week. I think Renich said he's going to go and try and see it, so hopefully we will get an official Last Movie Outpost review up at some point.
Yeah, I'll put up one if I see it today.
Without telling anybody, like you did with Happy Gilmore. I'm not bitter. In the meantime, make sure you
have multiple reviews. Put up your goddamn review. I don't care.
I'll put it up when it's on streaming. Because I saw it in the cinema. In the meantime, make sure you bookmark Last Movie Outpost, because you can get movie news, reviews, and everything cool about film. We put up articles every single day, and then we're making a big deal at the moment about indie films as well. So some films which maybe not just Hollywood, but they are made with a lot more heart, a lot more love. And genuinely, some of the stuff I've seen this year on indie stuff has been fantastic. So make sure you check that out. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram and all those other things. Like and subscribe. And what else is it they say on these things? Like and subscribe. I don't know.
Thank you very much, everybody. Button.
Yeah. Smash that like button. Wherever it is.
Nobody can just click it anymore. You have to smash it or bash it or crush it. You can't just lightly click it.
You mean with your mouse and the pointer, and not with a hammer on the screen.
Very important.
Thank you, everybody, and we will see you all again next week.